What's going on? It's Ed from ClicksGeek, and today we're going to talk about words you should remove from your lexicon when it comes to sales. So we're in the process of training a new sales trainer, new appointment setter, and some things have come up that I was saying that, I think you should probably remove those phrases just because they're things a salesman might say, but a doctor wouldn't or a consultant wouldn't. So going through the first bunch in a follow-up scenario where you've had the initial sales call and you haven't closed the deal, but you want to reach out and you want to follow up because you want to close that deal. Telling the client that you're following up or that you're checking in or that you're reaching out, I would avoid words like that, and instead you'd say something like, I learned from Cardone, the reason for the call is, and maybe instead of saying you're following up, touching base, reaching out, you say, hey, the reason for the call is we just did a case study video where we had a client get 197 leads in 30 days, and I just wanted to reach out and explain it to you and get that in your hands so you could review it before you made a decision, or something along those lines. Yeah, that's how I would recommend the follow-up side of things, and just constantly be providing value in the follow-up. Jordan Stupar, former Cardone guy, who is a sales trainer as well. He's got specific percentages that he uses where a certain percentage of the follow-up is value-based, certain percentage is entertainment-based. So he does follow-up with memes, with all sorts of different things, and we subscribe to that as well. It's a good methodology. But again, get rid of follow-up, checking in, reaching out, stuff like that. Now, just overall in a sales scenario, a couple other words I think should be removed are things like trust me, and when I say it's like at the end of a sentence. We do X, Y, and Z, or you know what I'm saying? Things like those are, they're not really, they're meant to basically just check that the client's paying attention, but at the same time, it's you're not really waiting for an answer or not, and they tend to get overused. If it's a one-off, that's fine, but if it's something like where you're going through your pitch and you're saying it at the end of each sentence, it's too much. So trust me, when I say trust me, it's typically the client, you haven't earned the trust from the client, so saying trust me, it's a little disingenuous, in my opinion. And another one would be right. So using right at the end of the sentence, like, you know what I mean? They all kind of fall in that same category. I would avoid those kind of words. Again, you know what I'm saying? Here's one that my least favorite of all time, and it's I'll be honest with you, or I'll be honest with you. I get why you'd use it, but at the same time, if you use it, it kind of denotes that you were full of shit the rest of the time. Or that's how it could be perceived. So if you're being honest with me now, what were you being with me the other 99% of the conversation? By default, it would be not honest, right? Because if you're being honest now, what were you before? So the client may not pick up on it, but maybe they pick up on it subconsciously. And again, it's salesy, and I don't really subscribe to that. I would avoid that. I don't know. Just the way I look at it is when you go to a doctor and you're in a diagnostic phase, and if you've watched this channel at all, I talk a lot about taking a doctor approach to selling, or a consultative approach to selling, and where you're going and doing fact finding or questioning, just like the doctor is going to basically go through a checklist. Oh, you're smoking. Okay. All right. How often are you drinking? Oh, okay. Oh, Mr. Ed, I see you're a few pounds overweight here. Okay. That's not good. Oh, your blood pressure looks good. Cholesterol's a little high. Okay. So we're just going through some things. Then they're going through a checklist. They're not saying, you know what I mean, right? They're not saying, I respect that. They're not saying those things at the end of sentences. And they're not saying, I'll be honest with you. They're literally just trying to go through fact finding, to objectively figure out what's going on so they can diagnose and prescribe a solution. So if you go in with more of a mentality that you are a doctor, prescribe or diagnosing an issue, and then prescribing a solution if there is an issue, because sometimes they're not and they're in a good place and they don't need what it is that you do, I think you'd be in a better place. So think like a consultant, think like a doctor, less like a salesman and more like an advisor, doctor, consultant. And I think you'd be in a good place. But just a few words I think you should try to remove from your language in a sales scenario. I know it doesn't happen overnight. It's not easy because these are things that you may have been saying for years. But if you put a concentrated effort on removing those, especially the "I'll be honest with you," that one drives me nuts because, like, oh, you're full of shit the rest of the time. So that's it. Just figured I'd throw this out there. And this was not to beat up on anyone in particular. This has been something I've wanted to cover for a long time. And I just seen a Mike Weinberg video yesterday. Mike Weinberg is the author of New Sales Simplified. And he had just done a video on words to avoid in the follow-up scenario, and he was covering like following up, checking in, reaching out, things like that. He had a little bit of a different push on what to say, but nonetheless, I wanted to make this video. I thought it'd be helpful, and that's it. This is Ed here from ClicksGeek. We're a Google Premier Partner Agency. We specialize in lead gen for local businesses. So if you need more leads for your business, give us a shout. I'll drop some links below to our management services, as well as some courses that we offer. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and that's it. Have a great weekend. Talk to you guys later. Bye.